According to a recent Instagram post from November 21st, Donald Trump's golf course in Jupiter, Florida might be violating federal law by having the presidential seal on the golf course as a tee marker. Now, this would make the third time that one of Donald Trump's golf courses has been busted using the presidential seal against the law. You, as an individual, even if you are the President of the United States, are not allowed to use that presidential seal for any commercial purposes or on any non-governmental entities without express permission by the federal government itself. If you do this, or even if you just manufacture it without permission, you could face up to 6 months in prison. And that Instagram post from a loyal Trump supporter on November 21st clearly shows the presidential seal being used on that golf course, which would make that a very clear violation of federal law. And again, this was at the Trump National Golf Club Jupiter. His golf courses in the Bronx and in New Jersey have also been flagged for the same thing in recent years. So here's the thing. Nobody's going to go to jail for this. Hell, they're probably not even going to prosecute it. They may not even tell him to remove it at this point. And that's part of the problem, isn't it? Right? We have all of these federal laws that Donald Trump and all of his people from his cabinet were breaking all the time. The Hatch Act, this issue with the presidential seal. Nobody ever actually got in trouble. And sure, these are relatively minor infractions, right? I mean, we don't need to make a federal case out of the fact that the guy is putting the little seal on his golf course. It's trivial, but it is against the law. So where do we draw the line, right? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. What laws do we think are stupid and just shouldn't be enforced versus what does need to be enforced? And at this point, Donald Trump seems to have gotten away with just about everything under the sun because they've let him. That's what drives me insane about this. They've just let him do it. Nobody says anything. Nobody does anything about it. There's no prosecutions. There aren't federal agents knocking down the doors of that golf course, going out there and ripping out those presidential seal markers, but there should be. At some point, this guy needs to understand that you cannot continue to try to profit off of the presidency, because that is what this is. That is absolutely what he is attempting to do here. He is using that as a draw to the golf course. I was the President of the United States. Here's all these presidential emblems, these presidential seals. They're everywhere. You're going to feel presidential. You're going to feel like you're in the company of greatness when you come to one of my golf resorts. He's using this for marketing. And, it may not be appearing on billboards or in commercials, but that is the ultimate goal. That is the reason these things are down there, to make people feel like they're in the company of greatness. When in reality, they're in the company of a two-time loser presidential former president who was impeached twice, probably going to run again, has no idea what the hell he's doing, has been a grifter and a con man ever since he stepped onto the campaign trail, but people eat it up. You're not in the company of greatness. You're in the company of one of the greatest con men the United States has ever seen. One of today's video sponsors is Magic Spoon cereal. Look, we're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors that you love, but without all the bad stuff. And it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed, too. Magic Spoon has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. And there's only 140 calories per serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And you can build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle include cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and maple waffle. And those last 2 flavors are now available permanently after having such a great reception from customers. So go to magicspoon.com/ROF to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code ROF at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/ROF and use the code ROF to save $5.